Is this thing working? So, we already know what took place. We already know what happened. The New York Knickerbockers. Round of applause for those Knickerbockers doing what they did, doing what they done to especially that team. Come on, man. I'm speechless. I could sit here for an hour in silence. So this is a pre-recorded show, many different things. Live, supposed to be Sundays, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central, but it's a little bit before that time right now, and I just wanted to put something together for the sake of keeping up with my schedule. Criticize me if you want to. You do it. So we got the New York Knickerbockers. I'm looking at last year's playoffs where we lost to, those godforsaken Indiana Pacers. If there's a team that I could dislike more than Boston, because I got to be honest with you, I'm a Yankees fan on the baseball side. So Boston, that Red Sox rivalry, right? It cuts deep. The Celtics have always kind of just been annoying, dating back to this scum. Excuse me. Paul Pierce. I never liked that guy. Never liked that Celtics franchise because of him. I was cool, Anton Walker, a fan of that guy, even not his shimmies at MSG, but he's cool. Paul Pierce has just always kind of just been this guy, especially in his post-playing days. Just annoying when it comes to the Knicks. Can never just give the Knicks, can't give them even what they earn a little bit. It's crazy. No respect. Was always a huge fan of Kevin Garnett, so sometimes I get it twisted because, I was actually rooting for those Celtics because of him. Huge Ray Allen fan. Cool. But overall, the Boston thing, it really comes from the baseball with the Red Sox. As far as I'm concerned, I shouldn't even hate the Celtics because they haven't been rivals. They've been big brother, beating us down, winning the division whenever they win it. Historically great, most championships all time. It's Celtics Lakers. It's not Knicks and Celtics. But the Boston thing, it's a real thing, right? Jets and Patriots. It's a real thing. So New York and Boston, there's just a rivalry between the cities. I say all of that just to highlight the point. If there's a team that I could hate more than a Boston team, any sport, it is the Indiana Pacers. A disgusting franchise with disgusting history. Reggie Miller, who I would be a huge fan of if he played anywhere else, because he is the sister, and you know sports, you study anything, you watch anything, you've heard anything. He is the sister. He is the brother, his sister, Cheryl Miller, the greatest woman I ever seen highlights, I've ever seen play basketball. Amazing. And Reggie Miller, when I came up playing basketball, I wore 31. Weird. It's a twisted thing. Huge fan. But he is a disgusting, vile individual on the basketball court when it comes to the Pacers Knicks and the times that we saw those Pacers in the playoffs. Oh, I hate that team. Disgusting, nasty, vile individuals who root for the Pacers. Disgusting. Man, to come from those Pacers to these Pacers, losing in Game 7 last year to those Pacers. Look, the Knicks were beaten, battered, abused, and bruised last season. All right. Their all-class, all-NBA superstar, Julius Randle, was injured. OG Anunoby was injured. Jalen Brunson was injured. Josh Hart was injured. Mitchell Robinson was injured. And Bogdanovich was injured. The Knicks had nothing by the time they got to Game 7 last year. OG stepped on the court, could barely walk. I remember he was dragging his leg. It was like the Dollar Tree version of Willis Reed's moment coming out in the finals way back when. That's what OG Anunoby did last year. And I remember he hit a corner three, if I'm not mistaken, and some other shot. I just remember he had 5 points in like 2 seconds of play. And that was all she wrote. That was it. Jalen Brunson, he had stuff going on. Had the hand wrapped up. Josh Hart, I think he had some kind of groin, hernia, spleen thing going on. Mitchell Robinson, those dirty, disgusting Philadelphia 76ers did everything they could to take him out. And and they took out Bogdanovich also in that series. Just disgusting. So you gotta love Paul Pierce, right? He can't help himself. The Knicks just eliminated Boston, albeit while Jason Tatum was off the floor for the final 2 games. Yes. But the Knicks seemed to be fully prepared to go up 3-1 while they had a 7, which turned into a 9-point lead under 3 minutes on OG Anunoby's fast break slam, the exact play where Tatum went down. The Knicks were up 9, essentially, with about 2:50 left in that game. Anything's possible, yes. But the Knicks appeared to be going up 3-1 with or without those circumstances. Now, what happens after, we don't know. Again, I think the Knicks went to Boston, and with or without Tatum, Boston wins that game. You come back to MSG. Now we're talking, is Game 6 different or not? But for what it's worth, the Knicks belonged on the court with Boston. They took the first 2 games, and Jason Tatum was right there. I don't want to hear it. But now Paul Pierce, he can't help himself. He's picking Indiana to beat the Knicks. It's like everyone that picked Boston to beat the Knicks just can't help themselves. If any other team in the Eastern Conference just did what the Knicks did, that team, by default, would become the favorite. And I get it. Indiana went through Cleveland. Cleveland is not Boston. And they never will be. And they never were at any point in the season. They could have gone 82-0. I would have had zero confidence in the Cleveland team. Because without LeBron James, it's just Cleveland. I don't care who you ask. That's the story. I don't care. Indiana was never, Cleveland was never going to be the Boston Celtics. They were the number 1 seed by record only, but not in stature, presence, not in ability. No, they weren't. The Knicks were the number 3 team all season long, but they will host these Eastern Conference Finals. Again, when Cleveland was the number 1 seed, oh, Cleveland, right? When Boston, who won the championship last year, was number 1 last year, number 2 this year, oh, Boston. When the Knicks are now the highest remaining seed in the Eastern Conference, I don't care how many games or percentage points, the Knicks are hosting the Eastern Conference Finals, right? Not home watching the Eastern Conference Finals, not the second-ranked team in the Eastern Conference Finals. They are hosting games 1 and 2, and most importantly, if necessary, Game 7 is at Madison Square Garden. And yet, and still, I've heard nothing from non-Knicks fans. I've heard absolutely no love, no credit, no support, no confidence from anyone outside of Knicks universe. It's amazing. Even after winning game 1 in Boston. Oh, this is the most meaningless upset I've ever seen. So they win game 2. This is the most meaningless upset I've ever seen. It looked just like the first game. All right. Boston wins game 3. Oh, the Knicks better buckle up. This series is over. And then the Knicks win game 4, go up 3-1. But again, in addition to the win, Jason Tatum went down. Brian Windhorst can't help himself. Knicks up 3-1. Just when you think they're going to lose, I think the Celtics are going to win. I wouldn't be surprised if we still see Boston in the Eastern Conference Finals when it's all said and done. So we go to Boston. And Boston has what I called, at that time, in real time, their last gasp. Last gasp. They were not going to lose on their home court. And they went out like the champions that they are. Respect to you. Respect. They went out like the champions they are. They didn't get embarrassed on their home court. They had the decency, the dignity, and the ability to get embarrassed in New York. Seems reasonable to me. Champions, right? But they won that game, and it just gave everyone just enough fuel and enough wind to fan their flames. Woo! The Knicks better look out. Man, let me tell you something. I knew with such conviction that the Knicks were going to win game 6, I couldn't even place a bet. One, because the value just wasn't there. Again, when Vegas is telling you that this game is, basically a toss-up, it's because even they can't admit to you when they should have had the Knicks +5 in that game, or -5, I should say. They should have been telling everyone, hey, the Knicks are going to win this game by at least 5 points to close out. Easily. But they couldn't help themselves either, Or maybe they did. I don't remember what the spread was, to be honest with you. I just remember looking at it like, I'm not betting against the Knicks, and even betting for them today, it's like not even profitable. Whereas in games 1 and 2, especially game 1, it was profitable twice. Before the game, and when they were down 20, it was really profitable. If you just look at what was going on. And I missed the boat. Game 1, it was something like plus 3,600. I missed the boat when they were down like 20, in game 1. But game 2, it didn't quite get to plus 3,600. It was more like plus like 1,500. Yeah. Didn't miss that boat. Funny thing, like game 4, I remember betting a parlay, Brunson to score 40 and Josh Hart to have a triple-double. Now, Brunson had 39 in that game, and Josh Hart did not record a triple-double. But then in game 6, Josh Hart recorded a triple-double. It's like I just knew he'd have one. I just thought that the Knicks would dominate game 4 the way they did game 6. That was the only difference. And Tatum was healthy, playing. And I thought Josh Hart would still have a triple-double in game 4. That's how crazy I am. But, hey, no Jason Tatum. Josh Hart delivered game 6, but I did not place a bet because I was over it. I was done. Like, the series was over. But for the Knicks to be that convincingly great in that series and still get no respect and no regard, it's like they're not even getting hope and prayers. Everyone's picking the Pacers. Oh, man. At this point, the Knicks are going to go to the NBA Finals, and they're going to win that too. That's what this looks like to me. Just looks like one of those things. I don't know. You tell me, what's special about Cleveland. Nothing. That's why they're not here anymore. What's special about all the teams outside of Boston? Boston was the only other team as special as the Knicks. Indiana's not. Indiana's a part of that bunch. They're not special. They're not special. The NBA wants special teams to win championships, and the Knicks are special, and that's why they're going to represent the Eastern Conference in the finals this year. Let's see what's going on. Check in here. See what's going on. Oh, nice. So the Thunder took care of their business. Yeah. Well, looks like it's going to be Knicks and OKC. A blue and orange NBA Finals. Thunder, Knicks. Well, all that talk about going 0 for 10. I wish Cleveland would have found a way to beat the Pacers. All that talk about, the Knicks were what? I think 0-4 versus Boston, 0-4 versus the Cavs, and 0-2 versus OKC. Right? Regardless of who was hurt, who didn't play, back-to-backs, travel, regardless of all those factors, 10 matches, 10 losses. You suck, right? Regardless of the fact the Knicks won over 50 games. Hell, if they won half those games, they would have been a 56-win team. But it didn't happen, and it didn't have to happen. At the end of the day, they won 51 games. The season's a season. When you get laser-focused into a series, healthy Knicks, they beat Indiana last year. Healthy Knicks, they go 6 with Boston last year. Last year's Pacers swept by Boston. Swept. It's because they came out of a dogfight with the Knicks. It's going to be good, man. Going to be good. So game 1, we've got the odds here. The Knicks are -4.5 at home. Okay, that looks about right. Yeah, so maybe they were about a 5-point favorite against Boston for game 6. Should have been a 10-point favorite. I think they had the largest playoff victory in Knicks history. I mean, they demolished them. It was unbelievable. 119-81. Whew. Essentially, a 40-point win in the playoffs. Yikes. It's funny how, in the end, it was truly the Celtics that didn't belong on the floor with the New York Knickerbockers. It's pretty incredible. And to tell you the truth, Cleveland, they really didn't belong on the floor with Indiana either. They truly, get it. I'm not talking about. Seems like no one cared last year when the Knicks were injured, so I don't care who's hurt, who didn't play, who played. Indiana dominated those guys. And now we got Halliburton, one of the most annoying faces in the NBA, versus the Knicks. Yeah, there's more guys. Halliburton, that annoying guy over there with the that shot the long 3 last year. Like, Indiana sucks, bro. Team sucks. Come on. Knicks in 5. Let me look up the Pacers roster. Who's even on the team? You got I am the captain now. You got Halliburton. Yeah, bro. Indiana really is nothing, honestly. Like, if the Knicks and Indiana would have swapped positions, Boston maybe still beats Indiana. Detroit maybe beats Indiana, bro. Like, ugh, I just, I can't see it. I just can't see it. I cannot see that team beating the Knicks 4 times. I will genuinely be upset. Expectations have changed, Knicks. You got past the best team in the Eastern Conference. Make no mistake about it. It's now yours to lose. Some of the highlights in that Celtics series, some of the things that stood out the most, the effort when it mattered most, right? Mikal Bridges, for him to be the person, the player that he is all season long, he's got to have, I mean, he is the Iron Man, doesn't miss games, but he's got to have, I don't even know how to describe him, how mentally tough he has to be to show up the way he did at the end of game 1. And just to prove it wasn't a fluke, he did the exact same thing at the end of game 2. And then just to prove that he wasn't done, right? To kind of really lay the whole 5 picks for this guy to rest. He found his way offensively and at times carried the Knicks to victory in game 4, even in game 2. Huge shots. But when Brunson either didn't have it or wasn't on the floor in both of those games, both victories, Mikal Bridges was phenomenal. And he started to get back to shooting his mid-range jump shot. Not just firing away from 3 and settling for one little thing. He started to really play basketball, his style of basketball, the style of ball that he played when he was in the Western Conference with the Suns. He's got playoff experience. He's no amateur or rookie. It's very impressive to see how good he is when it matters most, crunch time. His performances are phenomenal. And I know Jalen Brunson is the captain, he's the closer, and he's the, as he goes, the team goes. No good Brunson, no good Knicks, more than likely. But it takes a team. It's a collective effort. And Mikal Bridges, to me, was the most valuable player in that series against the Celtics because of what he was able to do defensively at the end of games 1 and 2, and even offensively in game 2. And the way he just continued to add things in terms of what he was contributing to the wins. He started to hit more shots. He started to take better shots. And he's an impressive player. 5 draft picks. We know what that was, man. Brooklyn made the Knicks pay more. Had he been traded somewhere else, maybe they take 3 picks. Who knows? But yeah, what were the Knicks going to do with those draft picks? In case you haven't noticed, Jalen Brunson wasn't drafted by the Knicks. Karl Anthony Towns, not drafted by the Knicks. OG Anunoby, not drafted by the Knicks. Keep going on and on. There's only one player that I really think of when I think of drafted by the Knicks, talking about this regime, Deuce McBride. And in total, it would be Mitchell Robinson. Other than that, there's no one here that was drafted by the Knicks. Josh Hart, Precious Achua, roll of the eyes because he doesn't really get to play at all. It's like he's barely there, but he's there. Campaign, I will continue to say this. It seems that now this is years ago, but Campaign's game one performance against the Pistons, one of the hugest contributions the Knicks have had in a very long time from any single player, but especially from him. It was amazing because why? Not only was Detroit controlling the game, not only did Detroit appear to be the better team, the more prepared team, the Knicks needed a 21-0 run just to gain control in game one. Just to get ahead, they had to go on a 21-0 run. But Campaign, I believe he had 14 points. But the performance was huge. His energy was priceless. What he did for the Knicks in game one versus Detroit to open up this playoffs, priceless. Because to this very moment, I believe Campaign saved the Knicks season. He at least saved them from having to go 7 games versus Detroit. Because more than likely, after seeing the Knicks lost game 2, they would have been going to Detroit down 0-2. Whew. Would have been a totally different series, totally different set of circumstances. And just from confidence standpoint, even if you'd gotten through Detroit in 7, do you go to Boston and win game 1? Go up 2-0? It's very hard to say. The Knicks somehow were able to accomplish everything that they set out to accomplish this year because Campaign woke up for game 1 and brought his energy and his attitude. And he woke the team up. I don't know. It's amazing. So sometimes that's what it takes when you construct a team. You just never know what you're going to get from who. I remember when he was with Philly last year, and I remember when the Knicks signed him in the offseason, I thought to myself, yeah, he's a pretty good bench player. I'll take him. He shoots the outside ball. I don't know how, efficiency. I don't know. I don't know that his role with the Knicks really speaks to how productive of a player he was previously. I think it happens to a lot of players when they come to the Knicks. Their skill set gets reduced a bit because of how they have to fit within this team. So, yeah, for him to turn it on just one good time was enough for me to say thank you to Campaign. Hopefully he's not here again next year. But thank you for your contribution, sir. Oh, my goodness. Yeah. 1999, which would be the 98-99 season. I was in 5th grade. I remember going to school after every series win, after every moment throughout those playoffs, starting off with Allen Houston's buzzer beater in game 5, best of 5 in the first round back then, to beat Miami. I remember seeing the Daily News the next day from, I don't know, some teacher was on a desk or whatever. And I just remember sitting in my class and like drawing Allen Houston and drawing MSG and, or really was that was in Miami, but I drew the basketball court. And I just remember like staring at my drawing, thinking to myself, like, man, I wonder if it's almost weird, right? Like at the time, it felt like this basketball team that I'm rooting for, it just felt so special. And I just felt like at the time, I guess I was just having the thought, like, is this real? Is this team really going to win the championship? Jordan's not there, right? And that was kind of like, that's the paragraph. Jordan wasn't there. And I'm like, hey, anything's possible, right? And the moments from that from that postseason, the Knicks they were on a run, man. They were on a dream run at the time. So let's get into the yes. See, I always forget this. I don't know why memory. They thrashed the Hawks. So they go 5 versus Miami. And then they thrash the Hawks 4-0. And those playoffs were special too, for Sprewell. He really. Oh wow! Today's the I guess you'd call it the 26-year anniversary of when the Knicks beat the Hawks in Game 1. Just look at this line. Allen Houston, 34 points to lead the way in Game 1. Man. Allen Houston on 13 of 20 shooting. Jesus. My goodness. 65% from the floor. And Allen Houston leads the way with 34 points. My goodness. And then everybody else's points are just so pedestrian, except Sprewell. But Sprewell came off the bench, and he was 11 of 21 for 31 points. Yo, look at the lineup. You had Ewing, Kurt Thomas, Larry Johnson, Allen Houston, and Charlie Ward. That was a Game 1 lineup. Off the bench, we had 6-man Sprewell. We had Chris Dudley, Chris Childs, and Marcus Camby. See, the fact that Ewing was able to play still at this moment in time, I wonder, did he get hurt in the Indiana series, or was he just playing hurt throughout? Long story short, though, the leading rebounder in every game was Mutombo, who was a Hawk at the time. 13 in Game 1, 17 in Game 2, 16 in Game 3, and he had 11 in Game 4. Man, God rest his soul. That dude, monster on the boards, man. The playoffs just bring out the best. But yeah, Sprewell, he dropped 31 again in Game 2 to lead the way. These were not high-scoring games. I mean, the Knicks scored 100 in Game 1 back then to beat Atlanta 192. Then Game 2, 77-70. Game 3, 90, 78. And Game 4, 79-66. The Knicks just dominated that second-round series. Almost, not quite, almost what they did to Boston just now, if we're being honest. The Knicks did dominate the series. Wins and losses, if we're being honest. And then, of course, you get into the story 26 years ago. The Pacers and the Knicks. Let's take a look at this series. I could see this one going exactly like this year. Knicks win Game 1, 93-90. Pacers win Game 2, 88-86. Knicks win Game 3, 92-91. Pacers win Game 4, 90-78. Knicks win Game 5, 101-94. And then the Knicks close it out at MSG, 90-82. The scores will be different, but I could see, look at this. Game 1, Knicks win by 3. Game 2, Pacers win by 2. Game 3, Knicks win by 1. Gut-wrenching for the losing teams, right? But so when you look at the end of 3 games, the Knicks and Pacers point differential was 1 point. Oh, that's scary. I don't want it to be that close. Yeah, right. Knicks by 3, and then Pacers by 2, and then Knicks by 1. Okay, so the point differential was 2 points. That's too close. That's crazy. After 3 games, leading scorer Larry Johnson. Who knew? Who knew? I don't have all my facts straight on one thing. I'm trying to remember what game was it when Larry Johnson did what he did. That's what I'm trying to remember right now. Was it game 3? It just feels like it had to have been game 3. No, couldn't have been game 3. No, see, something's not right. Let me just look at the scores again. I don't know. Huh. Oh, I got it wrong. Okay. No, I got it right. Okay, yeah. So could it have been game 3? Nah, I gotta look it up now, bro. Game 3. Told you I didn't have my facts straight, and the facts were straight. Larry Johnson's 4-point play during Game 3 of the 99 Eastern Conference Finals, pivotal moment, New York Knicks playoff run with 5.7 seconds left. The Knicks trailing 88-91. Johnson made a game-tying 3 and then converted the ensuing free throw after being fouled by Antonio Davis. Game 3 of the 99 Eastern Conference Finals between the Knicks and Pacers was a tight game. Man, that 4-point play was so huge. Just thinking back again. Little old me sitting in 5th grade class. Coming to school the next day, perhaps. So June 5th, 1999. Let's see what day of the week that was. Feels like it was a Sunday, but let's just see. So June 5th, 1999 was a Saturday. Okay. Yeah, because memory serves. So show up at school on Monday. So I probably went to church on Sunday acting a fool. It's probably that Sunday school. Like, did you see the game with Larry Johnson? So I went to Sunday school and church for sure, acting a fool. And then Monday, like what I used to do after every Knicks win. So I drew Larry Johnson, like the stick figure, probably, like making the long range shot from the, diagonal part of the key, drains it. I remember when he turned around and he was telling the teammates, still got to hit this free throw. Now, in real time, what I remember so vividly, after just losing game 2, and winning game 1, it was like everything was just so close. When the Knicks went up 1, I said, okay, now they're probably going to lose because they got that guy on the other side, right? They got that guy. And when the Knicks actually went up 2-1 at that point, I said, okay, maybe, maybe they're not going to lose the series. Ultimately, they won the series. And they went to the NBA Finals. And it's been that long, since 1999, since I've seen the Knicks in the NBA Finals. Indiana's in the way right now. Because I believe the Knicks are going back to the Finals. Just so happens the last time the Knicks were in the Eastern Conference Finals was the next year in 2000 when they lost to Indiana. Ironically, right? So the last 2 times we were there was the back-to-back years, 99, 2000. For me, again, sports fan, before Rex Ryan came along, the Jets were in the 99 AFC Championship game, had a 10-0 lead against the Broncos, lost. But just, for context, right? Yankees were in the middle of a three-peat, winning World Series back then. And the Knicks were in back-to-back conference finals after Jordan left. Who knew? But yeah, seeing where the Knicks are right now, they built this thing, man. They built this thing, and it just feels so good. It feels so right. The Knicks did everything that they set out to do, and I still think they're a year ahead of schedule because this series will tell it all. This series will tell it all. Everything that we thought could happen if they didn't beat Boston, I think it still applies for this series right now. If Tom Thibodeau gets out-coached, could he be the odd man out at the end? Right? If other players wilt, one of them or two of them will be the odd man out when it comes to the acquisition of Kevin Durant, most likely. But the flip side to that is if these players just continue to rise, I don't know if the Knicks make any major moves. And to date, could you really be mad at that? Especially if this team gets to the finals, could you really be upset with no major moves happening this offseason? I don't know. Fan base always seems to be pretty split on Tibbs. One thing's for sure, culture builder. The New York Knicks have an identity. Winning basketball looks a certain way, and when the Knicks play that way, they win. Not science rocket. The Knicks, when they move the ball around, make the extra pass, when they crash boards, when they play defense, and when they just use their heads, they look like one of the best teams in basketball. They really do. And when the shots fall, it's hard to argue that they're not one of the best teams in basketball. There were so many moments in Game 6 where the Knicks looked like the Celtics. There was a sequence or 2 or 10 where Brunson drove, kick out, pass, wide open three, bang. They looked like Boston. And we've been waiting to see this team. We've seen them throughout the regular season countless times. But we were waiting for those Knicks to show up in the playoffs, and they finally did. In the closeout game to advance to the Eastern Conference Finals, those Knicks finally showed up. And if those Knicks continue to take the floor, they will dominate these Pacers and beat them in 5 or 6 games because the Knicks are still the better team. Now, you can't say that against Boston. Are the Knicks the better team? Probably not. No. If Boston does everything to the best of their ability, Boston's the best team. But I always believed if Cleveland did the best that they could do to the best of their ability, they're not better than the Knicks head-to-head. I feel the same way about Indiana. If Indiana does what they do to the best of their ability, and they happen to run into a Knicks team that's doing the best that they can do, the Knicks will win that series. And when you look over there on the West, I know it's hard to say this right now, but I don't think Minnesota would have a chance to beat the Knicks. I don't care who they've beaten, what they've done over there. I just don't think the Knicks lose to teams like that. Again, I truly think healthy, there were 2 teams that were built that are currently standing, now only one of them standing. But coming into the season and throughout the season, there were 2 teams that I thought, all things even, health, availability, and both teams playing their best, only Boston and only OKC were clearly better than the Knicks. One of those teams not here anymore. So you get through Indiana, and on the West side, I'm telling you, if OKC somehow gets upset by Ant-Man and Julia Randle, the Knicks are going to win the NBA championship against Minnesota. If they see OKC, it's a tougher thing to say. But we'll live in the present because the series against Indiana won't be easy. I just think that if the Knicks play their best ball, they'll win it. And after seeing what they've just did to Boston, it should be fair. I should be allowed to say that. It shouldn't be a stretch. But some people will make it that. Hmm. Just going to take a look at what the word is on the Twitter, formerly known as Twitter, X Streets. It's hard to call this app X or this website X. Man, people are crazy. They're saying Porzingis illness, Brown meniscus tear, Tatum wrist ruptured Achilles, Drew Holiday hamstring, if I didn't say that already, and Sam Hauser sprained ankle. Still got to game 6 of the semis. Oh, come on, bro. Oh, my goodness. Yay, man. You know what? Let them have it. Let them have it. We already know what this is, man. Got the Final Four, Wolves, Knicks, Pacers, and OKC. Yeah. Knicks are really in the Final Four. Seeing it in that way, it's crazy, man. Minnesota, New York championship would be nice, but I'd rather see OKC because they're the better team, and I'd rather the Knicks go against the best. I get it. I think they'll beat Minnesota, and so that would be nice too. You know, but I don't think that I don't think the Knicks can't beat OKC. So I think it's truly just in whoever wins the championship, the ball's in their court. They play their best. 9 times out of 10, they feel like they're going to win, and they probably are right. So what I want the Knicks to do is just play their best. Play their absolute best. I'm looking at Judge and Soto catch up before tonight's rubber match. Good to see. Juan Soto, there's no way that this guy doesn't regret what he did. Look, if we're all being honest, the Mets are the perfect place for Juan Soto to be. You know, that's the metropolitan team. They represent something a little bit different than the Yankees in terms of their culture and how they like to run their organization. And I do believe that he got a healthy taste of what it's like to be a Yankee, went to the World Series, had some opportunities there with the team, and they blew a huge game and they bowed out after 5 games. But, you know, I truly think that, yes, money was a leading factor, but also to kind of go to a place where he can help to reignite and cultivate a legacy of his own. Because if he stays with the Yankees, he's living in Aaron Judge's shadow. And while he could be living in Lindor's shadow, it's only a matter of time before he takes over as the guy in Queens. Even as Judge gets older, as long as Judge is out there, you're going to be in his shadow. One, because he's 6'9", and everyone's in his shadow. But two, because the guy bats 400 and hits 50 home runs. Juan Soto had a career high hitting home runs last year, and Aaron Judge had a lot to do with that. But yeah, watching these two guys catch up over here, it's nice. And so, it's cool to look at and think about what they had last year, but it's also bittersweet to think about what could have been because, I wish he would have stayed with the Yankees because we'd be talking championships. I don't care how good the Dodgers are. Look at this. One of these 2023 Knicks is getting their first ring this year. Jalen Brunson, Isaiah Hartenstein, Julius Randle, or Obi Toppin. That's insane. Mm-mm-mm. I didn't really. I'm not jiving. I'm not jacking some of the activity I saw in New York City following that Knicks win. Some of that stuff was kind of like, it was a bit much. Guess it all is what it is. Make me do one thing. Make me do one thing. Paul Pierce. Paul Pierce is such a clown. Paul Pierce is such a clown. Dang. I think people really want Minnesota to, hey, like I said, if Minnesota goes to the finals and the Knicks are there too, the Knicks are going to win the championship. So I get it. I just don't think Minnesota could beat OKC. I just don't. I think the Knicks can beat anybody, and anybody can be beat, sure. But I don't think. I just don't see OKC losing to those guys. Denver, they had to go 7 games to beat Denver because Denver is another team. They could beat anybody. Fired their coach, fired their GM, and still hanging around. But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know if I see Minnesota really beating. Like, really? I don't know. I don't know. They had a different road to get to where they are. OKC is ready. Getting through Denver. I think OKC is ready, and with the Knicks getting through Boston, the Knicks are ready, and that's why I think you're going to watch a Knicks OKC final, and then at that point, I just need the Knicks to continue playing their best basketball. Hmm. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go. I'll do some bike riding or something. I can't even explain. This is doing this right here, man. It's just so chill for me. It's been a busy week, a lot going on in the private life, and yeah, it's a nice outlet to kind of just get here and start my week by, you know, after doing everything I need to do spiritually and with the family and everything. But just coming back to my second nature, sports, and doing a little talk. Is your favorite unk? Your favorite sports talking bald headed dad, Ben Little, live Sunday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central. The show continues all week long on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram at many different things. Tap in. I'm just reading the banner. Till next time. Ciao.